So you want to get into 3D printing, but you just don't know what 3D printer to buy. Maybe you want to 3D print some stuff that matters. Maybe you want to print some weird stuff. I don't judge. I 3D print Iron Man suits. So with almost 6 years of 3D printing experience, man, I've been doing this way too long already. I'm going to take you through different price points of 3D printers and tell you which ones I recommend for you to get started. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or maybe you're new here. I'm Frank, but you probably already knew that. I thought I was wearing my other shirt. Oh well. So some really basic things for the video. First off, these are printers I have used myself or know well enough that other people have used in the community or the hobby or friends that I would absolutely recommend them to you. Obviously, there are machines I'm just not going to cover because I haven't tested every single one and maybe I just don't like them. These are my opinions and my recommendations. If you don't like them, can't help you. I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible so you can get on your merry way. I am not reviewing printers in this video. Most of these I already did dedicated reviews to, and if I did, they will be linked down below. And if I haven't personally reviewed that specific one, I will link you to one I trust. And one last thing, if by the end of the video you happen to like the information I provided to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out, but without further ado, let's get started. Under $100. Yes, believe it or not, there is a 3D printer I still recommend for about or under $100, and that is the tried and true Creality Ender 3. Now, I know this website says $159, but if you go to some micro centers or find them on eBay or Amazon or some flash sales, you can still find the Ender 3 for $100. Now, I don't want to lose you. I know some of you are probably already thinking of clicking off the video. The reason I recommend this printer if you only have $100 is this is the bare bones 3D printer. If you're looking to get started in the hobby and learn about 3D printing, this is still one of the best options. You're going to have to upgrade it. You're gonna have to slowly put more money into it because it doesn't come with a lot of features. Nothing like the other printers we're gonna talk about in this list, but if you wanna learn about printing, what really makes it tick, and you kind of like enjoy building stuff and maybe troubleshooting, I actually still recommend the Ender 3. It's a fun DIY printer, and this is where a lot of printing started. So if that's your budget, this is a really cool printer to start with, but we are going to be talking about way more better built out of box, ready to go printers. But if you only have about $100, keep an eye out for this printer and it kind of gets you started and it's a lot of fun. I am thinking about doing a video where I compare an Ender 3 to like the top tier current printer, but we'll get back to that another time. Now moving into printers that work a little more reliably and you have to tinker with a lot less, the sub $200 range. There are really only two printers I'm currently recommending under $200, and one is actually the upgraded version of the Ender 3 we just saw. This is a newer version called the Ender 3 V3 SE, and there's a couple variants of this on the list, but this is a good out-of-box printer from Creality. It works, you stand it up, it has some pretty good features. It doesn't have the biggest build volume ever. A lot of the cheaper printers on the list are gonna have build volumes about this size. They're not really the largest print volumes ever, but you can do a lot of fun stuff on these. You can't do things like helmets in one piece. You can't really do big cosplay props, but this size is what I use to print a lot of my devil fruits, and you can print a lot of cool stuff on this build volume. But with 3D printing and models, you can also cut up 3D models. And yes, you can absolutely print things like Iron Man suits and giant props and cosplay on beds like this. It just takes a little more time. So if you have under $200, I definitely look into the V3 SE or the Elegoo Neptune 3 Pro. Some of you might start already searching for the Neptune 4 series, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna talk about the Neptune 4 series anymore beyond this point. I don't like it. They are FDM bed slingers, and if you know what that means, you know they don't like printing really fast, unless it's a bamboo. So I'd stay away from the Neptune 4 series for now until Elegoo fixes some of the issues with Clipper. So just look for the Neptune 3s or the Neptune 3 Pros. The only difference between the 3 and the 3 Pro is a little bit of like upgraded rail systems or bearings. So if you can't do the 3 Pro, don't worry about it, just get the 3. These can be had for like 150, even less sometimes, and they're great starter printers, and they're much better than the original Ender 3. Moving on to the $300 and less range, this is our first heavy hitter. There is no printer in this range I would recommend currently more than the Bamboo A1 Mini. If you're familiar with Bamboo Lab, you've heard the name, the X1 Carbon, the P1P, P1S, whatever. This printer is awesome. Now, I haven't personally tested the A1 Mini, but I have used the A1, and it has been knocking it out of the park. One of the best build quality printers I've ever used, and the Mini is just a smaller version of that, and everybody I know who has used this printer absolutely loves it. The fact that you can get a printer this well built and reliable for 250 bucks is wild. And if you're looking to eventually upgrade it with multicolor printing, yes, if some of you didn't even know that was a thing, you can get something called an AMS Lite, and this lets you print 4 different colors at once on the A1 Mini or the A1 if you end up getting it. So this one is a little pricey too. As the add-on, it adds $250 to that printer, but again, it's an add-on. You can save up for it and get it later. If for whatever reason you're not a fan of Bamboo, there is the Ender 3 V3 KE. This is a slightly upgraded version over the SE. It just has a couple extra little features. It has better rail systems. I think it has linear rails, and it's just a slightly better printer. But if you were looking for a bigger build volume, you can now go and look at the Elegoo Neptune 3 Plus. This is a medium size, we call it a helmet class 3D printer. That means the build plate can print like cosplay helmets and stuff. This bed is just a little bit bigger than the 3 Plus, but it's about that same size. You can start getting into much bigger things here. So if you're looking for absolute insane reliability and good quality, the Bamboo A1 Mini, and if you just want to start getting into bigger printing, the Neptune 3 Plus. Now moving on to the 400 and below range, this is another heavy hitter. This is the Bamboo A1. The A1 Mini was a little test bed that Bamboo put out to see how they would do with FDM printing, and now they just have a larger printer for that price point. The standard A1 does have a slightly larger bed than the A1 Mini or the Ender 3s. You can see it just gives you a little bit more build volume there. You can see the edges there. And you can do some helmets on a print bed like this. It's just a, you know, I call it a extra medium, a schmedium size printer. Not quite as big as the Neptune 3 Plus, but not as small as the other ones we've mentioned. Now there was recently a recall with the A1 involving the bed cable on the back, but as far as I know up to this point, any A1s being shipped out currently from Bamboo have had all of those issues resolved. If you're buying it from a third party or a store or something, I definitely check into it to make sure it's had the upgrade, but now that they're shipping out good and that being the only problem, this is probably the best 3D printer you can get for under $400 right now. But if you're looking for something in more of size to start doing bigger props and cosplay, you can absolutely look at the Elegoo Neptune 3 Max. Now the Neptune 3 Max bed isn't quite as big as this one. It loses, I believe, like 30 millimeters off, but it's almost the size of this. And you can see that that is a huge upgrade from the standard like Ender 3 size. This is a massive printer for printing massive things. It's not gonna be the fastest printer in the world. That's what the Neptune 4 Max tried to be. But again, just stay away from the 4 series right now. They need to fix the clipper problem. If you know, you know. So ridiculous build and quality, the A1. You wanna print big, the Neptune 3 Max. Moving on to the 500 and below range, we actually have a new brand coming into the mix. They're not a new brand, but they're just new on the list. FlashForge, or specifically the Adventurer M5 or 5M Pro. 5M. I have this printer. I like this printer, and this is a direct competitor to the Creality K1. They're the same build volume, they take up about the same space on your desk, they're both high-speed printers, and they are both turnkey out of box. These are really our first turnkey printers, and what I mean by that is you take them out of the box, take all the foam and stuff out of them, plug them in, maybe screw the door on the K1, I don't quite remember, and then it just starts printing. It does its whole own calibration system, it levels itself, it does all this crazy cool stuff, and then it just prints. I just did a review comparing the K1 and the K1C and the K1 Max. We're gonna talk about those other two in a little bit. Again, all the review videos I've done are listed down below. Go check them out. If you're turned off by the Creality name, I would definitely recommend the FlashForge. It has been keeping up with my 3 K1s just fine. It's very user-friendly and easy to use, and I like the printer. But if you want a little bit more volume, but still a pretty good printer, we actually have the Ender 3 V3 Plus. Now I just did a review video on the normal V3 and they just sent me the V3 Plus. You can see here it's on pre-sale, but if it's as reliable as the V3 has been for me, this thing is just a bigger version of it. They just scaled it up, and usually that works well unless you're the Gigastorm Elegoo. You know what I'm talking about. So this printer should be good. If you guys want to wait, if you're still like cautious about it, once I get that review video up, I will re-link that down below. But if you're watching this, you know, a week or two after I put this video out, I still haven't tested that printer, but I have high hopes for this. It uses the whole K1 system with its interface and touchscreen, and I think this is going to be a good one. Again, it's that medium-sized helmet class printer that's just bigger than the standard V3. This is actually a pretty good size comparison for them. V3, V3 Plus, not bad. This is the 600 and below range, and first up is the Bamboo P1P. This printer is just awesome. If there's one printer in this list I would recommend to anybody looking to get started 3D printing, if you can afford this $599, I know it's $600, $599 3D printer, this is it, the Bamboo P1P. Again, we go back to that turnkey printer setup. You take it out of the box and it works. And this is one of the most reliable 3D printers I've used. I had a little bit of issue in it. If you go far enough back in some of my videos, I did have a little bit of problem with it because the user interface, the firmware, just wasn't quite up to date yet. Bamboo released some updates and now all of them are just beautiful. This printer is fast. All of the Bamboo printers are fast, but this is where you get into those Core XY speeds, and it's just amazing to see how fast these machines are. And just like the other Bamboos with the AMS Lite, you can upgrade it to multicolor printing. You can also upgrade the P1P, P1S, and X1 with the standard AMS system. Now, this has a $350 price tag, but you can add it onto any machine. You can wait, you can save up to it. You can actually add 4 of these onto a machine, which is ridiculously expensive. But if you want to print 16 different colors at once, you can. Now, this is that medium-sized printer I was talking about, where Bamboo's beds are just a little bit bigger than your standard like Ender-sized beds, but you can still do a lot of stuff on them. The Creality K1C does also fall into this category of being like $80, $70 cheaper, but it is gonna be a smaller bed. However, you are gonna get an enclosure with that printer. So if you're printing different materials, PETGs, you can even print some PLA carbon fibers on this printer. So you're gonna lose the size, but you're gonna get an enclosed printer that actually has a touchscreen and user interface. Again, that K1 versus K1C, K1 Max video, you can go learn about that. It's listed down below. So it's a little bit back and forth. If you just want an all-in-one small footprint enclosed printer, the K1C isn't a bad option, but I really think I just have to recommend the Bamboo P1P. If you have the $600 and you want to get into 3D printing and you want to have your mind blown with how far this technology has come, get this printer. $700 and below. Right now, there's really only one printer in this price point that I can even recommend, and that is the Bamboo P1S. This is the exact same printer as the Bamboo P1P, except it has a door. This is a fully enclosed printer, and this is the second printer I'd recommend almost over any other machine. Definitely not the X1 Carbon because it's overkill, but we'll get to that anyway. If you're just, again, want a turnkey printer out of box and you have the 700 and you think you're gonna want an enclosure because you're gonna be printing things like PETG or things that off gas or have some fumes on them, this is the perfect machine for you. And just like the P1S and all that, you can add the AMS system and upgrade it, or you can just go and drop the $949 and buy the whole package. It's not a bad deal, honestly. You can buy an upgrade kit for the P1P, the doors that go onto it, but I think it's like $250. So it's just cheaper to get the P1S, but if you do have a P1P, you can eventually upgrade it. I wonder if anybody sold like a third-party kit for that yet, huh? $800 and below. So this is where things are gonna start deviating now. We're gonna start getting into some higher quality printers like Prusa, or we're gonna keep diverting into the standard quality printers like the Crealities or Elegoos, but you're gonna start getting bigger build volumes. But this is the Prusa Mark IV, and if you're Googling or researching 3D printing, there's no way this machine has not come up. The Prusa Mark III is regarded as like the best 3D printer of all time. This is the younger little brother, newer baby brother that just has some cooler upgrades. I have this machine. Its print quality is incredible. No, it did not print that Power Ranger helmet. It just looks cool sitting there. Now you can get the kit for it for $800 where you have to build it, or you can spend the $1,100 and it comes literally out of box built. So tomato, potato. So it kind of goes into the above $1,000 category if you just want the machine and have the capital to spend on it. Prusa is known for reliability. These machines don't break. They are very, very well built. However, it's still that really small Ender 3 size printer for $800. Where on the flip side of that, you have something like the Creality K1 Max, probably my favorite 3D printer right now. Now I know I said I recommend the Bamboos for the reliability, but if I was to just go and buy another printer right now with $800-ish, I'd probably get another K1 Max because it works for my workload and arsenal so well. The Bamboos are great and reliable. I like them a lot, but the build volume size on the K1 Maxes, yeah, black was a bad color for this build plate. This is a 300 by 300 bed. It's huge. I can print full helmets and cosplay props on this. The printers are fast, they're fully enclosed, they have AI. I love my K1 Maxes. I have 4 of them. I just did a 6-month review after beating the absolute brakes off of them for my Etsy shop. I like it. I like this printer. So if you want incredible quality that has been tested for years, you do have your Prusas. They're great. But Creality took a huge swing with the K1 Max, and I think they landed. So you can definitely go check out some different review videos for that. You can check out my review videos, but it is a mean machine and I love them. 900 and below. Unfortunately, there really isn't anything in this category except the FL Sun V400. You guys have also seen this on my channel. It's a bigger version of the Super Racer. It's faster, it's upgraded. You do have to build it. It's like the 2 gantries and then 3 pillars. It's not hard to build. Really awesome printer, really fast. I think Nate from the internet, if you guys know who that is, he used this to make like, did he use it to make his whole Iron Man suit? He used this printer. I use this printer a lot too. I no longer have it. Again, it just didn't fit in my workshop and arsenal of printers over there. But it's great. It's a huge Delta style printer, big build volume, but it's circular, it's not square. So you can fit things like helmets on it just fine, but just know that it's tall and it's just an odd printer, but it's fast. It is a very, very, very fast printer. And yeah, FL Sun, again, really excited to see what they come out with. But if you have $900 to spend and nothing else in this whole list appealed to you, you want to get a Delta style printer, here's the V400. $1,000 and below. What's even in this category? This is the Creality CRM4. This is the build plate of that printer. This is 450 by 450 by 470. It's huge. Now, I know I did a video a while ago comparing the M4 to the CR10 Max, and then it was also comparing it to the Neptune 3 Max and Neptune 4 Max. And yes, you can get a big build volume for cheap. We were talking about the Neptune 3 Max earlier, and it's massive. But after putting the M4 through its paces, this printer is really, really good. It has the sprite extruder on it, which I like Creality sprite extruder. It's like a stripped down extruder that's just easy to like, I don't know, it's easy to work on if there's like weird clogs. It has a CR touch, the belt and cable management's beautiful. It's a quiet printer. The touchscreen user interface is good. It's braced really well. I've just grown to really like this machine. It's just the upgraded replacement for the CR10 Max, if you're familiar with that. It is a little steep in its price point, but it has been more reliable than the Neptune 3 Max, way more reliable than the Neptune 4 Max that broke on me like within a few days. And it's just a big printer. It's not gonna print fast. Do not expect it to print fast, but it does print faster than its older brother, the CR10 Max. I can say that for sure. It is a very reliable printer. But if you're looking to start printing big stuff and you just wanna let the printer go, this is a really great option. I don't know if I'd call this somebody's first 3D printer. I always call these larger 3D printers your second printer. You have something small, you're in the hobby, you love it, you're like, yeah, I like making devil fruit, and you want to start printing cosplay or props or bigger stuff. This is the second printer you get. You've already kind of dialed in the bugs, you know what 3D printing is about, and then you put this on the table next to your small one, and then your wife gets mad. She's like, you bought another printer. You're like, ah, yeah, you get it. And last but not least, the over $1,000 category. And no, I'm not gonna talk about the 5,000 and 10,000. No, like just barely over 1,000. You're like, I have about $1,000 to spend on a 3D printer. What do I want to buy? This is what we're gonna be looking at. The Bamboo Lab X1 Carbon. This thing has been marketed as like the best 3D printer around. I see people recommending it all the time. I see it on my Facebook ads feeds. This thing is overkill. If you're watching me and you're watching my channel and you're printing cosplay, props, little trinkets around the house, Demon Slayer katanas, devil fruits, whatever, you're just printing stuff. You're not trying to do engineer grade stuff. You're not doing carbon fibers and nylons. This thing is overkill. If you have the money for it, by all means, go nuts, but you don't need this printer. The cheaper version of this was the Bamboo P1S. It's the same machine. It doesn't have the same LiDAR or touchscreen, but I have all 3 of them. They print the same. I know there's gonna be comments about that one down below. Ugh. And just like all the other Bamboos, you can add the AMS system, which is really cool. So if you have the capital to spend on this and you just want a printer that can pretty much do it all, you don't know if you're gonna print nylons, you don't know if you're gonna do carbon fibers or whatever, get the X1 Carbon. It's amazing. It is absolutely astonishing what Bamboo Lab has done with this machine, and it has absolutely pushed the entire 3D printing market just ahead. It's been great, and I'm very excited to see what Bamboo does in the upcoming years. Hopefully they do more than just releasing sales when other companies come out with printers, but we're gonna see. Great printer, but if you're just printing stuff like I do, the stuff you see in my videos, get the P1S. It's just a cheaper X1. And we also come back to the Prusa Mark IV pre-built. You can just get it out of box. Maybe I'll do a video one day. The X1 Carbon versus the Prusa Mark IV quality-wise. That'd be kind of good. Those are about the same price point, right? What, 110? Yeah. Yeah. $50 difference? $100 difference. That'd be a good video. Creality could never. And I could probably already see a comment or two down below talking about the Prusa XL. I am not talking about the Prusa XL or recommending it. I haven't tested it. I've seen good things about it. Again, Prusa quality, but it's $2,000. And just more needs to come out about this printer. This isn't an entry-level machine. If you're looking to get this machine, I feel like you already know about 3D printing and you're well-versed and you can already make that choice for yourself. But this isn't something I'd recommend for anybody watching this video because you're looking to get a 3D printer. And this thing's overkill. It's cool. I want one, Prusa. But, and this one, this is like your second or third printer as well. But it's pretty cool. So guys, that's the list. Those are the ones I currently recommend. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or you just want to yell at me because you're like, oh my God, he's a shill for Creality or Bamboo, leave some comments down below. It only helps the algorithm. I'll fight with you all day. Have you tested all these machines? Probably not. If you have, awesome, make your own video. Me personally, I freaking love this hobby. I love 3D printing. I love testing all these machines. This is my job. It's a pretty cool job. And I just like sharing this information with you guys. If I have a bad experience, I'm gonna share it. Again, Elegoo, Neptune, Orange Storm. And before you go, guys, I didn't want to put this in the beginning of the video because I feel like some people would have clicked off. But if you made it this far, I appreciate it. If you've been following my Instagram story or seen my community post or in my Discord, you guys know that my sister is currently in the hospital up in New Jersey and she doesn't have medical insurance. One thing led to another, life happens, but this is the position we're in. And we've set up a GoFundMe for her to help raise money for these medical bills. The beneficiary is my mother, who is back up in New Jersey now at the hospital, currently is filming this video. They're still there. They're still trying to figure out what's going on with her. It involves mass in her brain and brain bleed, and there's just a lot going on. This is obviously my job. I need to make content. I need to put out videos or else I don't get paid. You guys know, I think you guys know how YouTube works. I'm trying to raise as much money as I can. I will be auctioning off some props and different stuff and trying to do some giveaways or raffles and things along those lines. But if you're in a position to donate, please go check the GoFundMe link down below. You can read about it and just all of that. If you've watched this video, you've already helped. If you could share the link to the GoFundMe, that helps even if you can't donate. But just any support at this time would be massively, massively appreciated. While we try to navigate this. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this video helped you. I hope you learned something about 3D printing. And again, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, I read all the comments, not just the angry ones that I like trolling. Like, I read all of them and I will do my best to respond to as many as possible. But that's it for the video. I'm rambling. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You have a good day.